Hey guys, it's Al from Altruistic Channel, and I just wanted to touch base with you all. I actually posted this, or tried to post this video about a day ago on Ascension, but apparently they didn't like it because it did not go up and it got caught in the middle. So we're gonna try this again. So I've been kind of sitting on a bunch of information, as some of you know. I've been kind of going through the Ascension process myself, and so there are things that I can say and things that I cannot say. And essentially what I wanted to kind of put out there is that there comes a point during the ascension process, without going into specifics, where essentially you are tasked with kind of going back in time and kind of uh, getting together with all of your relatives, if you will. And so you basically go back, and I'm going to give you a hint, 1500 to about 1550. You're going to share all the exact same traits, all the same personality quirks and stuff with a specific person. And so you're tasked with going back and identifying that person first. And then that will lead you down a map, essentially a map of who you have been in the past. Because surprise, it's you. But the reason I'm allowed to say that is because it actually takes you to basically the arcs. So I'm in the middle of writing the third book about this, and this is not a publicity thing, but I'm just pointing out that the reason I'm fresh with this is because I'm actually getting downloads as I do the book. But essentially, you are tasked with having to transition as you're making well, not final because it's ongoing, but my interpretation of it from what I've been through is that when you go through the transition portion, most of you found a very odd moment in 2020, January 1st, where you had no idea what was about to fucking happen. You had done everything you were supposed to do. You were told essentially, that that you're making the transition, and we were all set to do it, but nobody really knew what the fuck that meant. We didn't know if we were coming back, if we were going off on an arc, like what the hell we were like. We didn't know what was going on, right? Because Ascension is one of those things that it's always going to be subjective. It's based on your personality. It's based on your soul's incarnation. It's based on all of your particulars, right? So, but when we were making that transition, one of the tasks we had was that we had to go and kind of get the map and start to follow the map to lead us to where we were going on the other side of 2020. And this is for people who are ascending, like have done the work, have done the shadow work, have gone through the death process, have kind of done the rebirth process, and kind of been going through God, it was the emotional death, then it was the physical death, then it was the mental death, then it was the ego death, which was horrible. It was I speak pretty. It was horrifying. Like any of you who've been through it, you know what I mean. You basically are spent your entire life trying to make peace with the fact that you are not comfortable with who you are. You're trying to get control of your dark side. You're trying to balance it out because, surprise, they all have to come with you. You can't leave the dark side behind. You can't leave the shadow. The shadow is where the light goes. And so you're kind of fumbling through life, and especially when you get onto the awakening process and then the ascension and all this stuff, you're tasked with like basically trying to like get this little demon under control. And it's like a little 16-year-old version of, like, for me it was a boy, like a 16-year-old very horny boy that was just like out of control. And I finally made peace with him, and I fell in love with him because it's me. And so I was like all my bad stuff, all my good stuff, and I finally got to a state of comfort, and I took that position of power of like with that lion, and I was like grrr, and all. And then it has to die. The ego has to basically sacrifice itself in order for your process for you to go on. And so I was not prepared for that. I didn't understand that that was coming. So after I picked up all the pieces, I thought that it was coming with me. I didn't realize that it had to die. It had to sacrifice itself. Cried like a bitch for 2 days, 2 solid days. I was so upset by this because it had taken me an entire lifetime to finally get comfortable with who I was. And for it to have to be destroyed like that, not like it doesn't get destroyed, but it gets broken down to its tidbits, right? Like it's not going to be the same thing that you are. I'm nowhere near what I used to be. I used to be like all reserved, and I'm an INTJ personality, and if you can't fucking tell now, but it's because I'm in the rebuilding process, which we'll get to in a second. So essentially what I wanted to say is that you go and you pick up all these aspects. And so as you go through the deaths, you're basically reborn in different aspects, mental, physical, whatever you want to go through. But you are called to judgment. And I'm not going to go into specifics about that because everyone's judgment is going to be called differently. But it's a little bit jarring, and you're just kind of in this weird headspace. And you're just I have no fucking idea what's going to happen next. So when 2020 came, a lot of us had already been called to judgment, and only those who have gone through the process will understand what I mean. Like you literally were called to judgment. There was a horn, and it blasted. Your heart stopped. You died. And so there's like this whole weird mental fuck up thing that happens in consciousness where you're just like, I've lost my fucking mind. I completely just lost my mind. So the reason I say all that is because that map that you were on, where you went to go pick up all of that stuff, you have to bring all that with you. And the reason is because we're not dealing with the past anymore. The past is gone. So that's why we were tasked at the very end of last year to go ahead and look at the past, gather as much information as we can out of it because we were letting it go. It doesn't mean we can't access it. It's just that there's no emotional tie to it. It's not as easy to remember anymore. And it's part of the process because if you're super mental, then there's going to be like tests that happen on this side of the transition where you're going to be like tested where all of a sudden your routine you won't fucking remember what your daily routine is. And you're just like, what the hell is going on? And then if you're more emotional, your emotional state's going to go completely blank. And if you had a connection with the divine, it's going to completely stop. And so there are things that are just going to fuck you up. And so the point is that you are basically carrying all of this information through the process and you're coming through to the other side. And I call it creating the arcs, which is what the chapter I'm on in the book. And essentially what this is that you were tasked with looking at all of the people who truly mattered in your life, and you were told to look at your past life and who you really are. And essentially you were tasked with essentially creating a list and a blank canvas. You were given a blank canvas and you were told, what do you want? What is it that you truly want as a soul? Now that you remember who you are, what is it you want? And so that list becomes super important on this side of things. And I don't know what happens next. I don't even know if I'm going to like keep going. I honestly could not tell you what's going on with the Ascension. I honestly can tell you that I'm like a little bit confused, although I'm finding myself laughing a hell of a lot more. It's like the divine cracks me up, and I'm pretty sure I've lost my mind. But I think anybody who has gone through any type of trauma or any type of death rebirth scenario is kind of batty. Like, we're not exactly known for being exactly sane people, but I feel pretty good about who I am. But I'm being rebuilt. And so what happens is that arc, you basically create that arc, which has all the information of all your friends and all the celebrities and all the people that you really respect and everything you didn't like about yourself. And the people that you hate, you had to put on that list because it turns out that's exactly you. There are things that you hate about yourself. And so it's reflective. And so the reason is because when you make it to this side, they basically rebuild you. And I'm not kidding. Like, I will give you a perfect example before I end this little video. It was, I think, not even a day ago. The ego had died, and I was super depressed, and I was like really, really upset, and I really honestly wanted to die, and I was done with the process, and I was ready to go, and it was just like I had been through so much in my life. I was just like, fuck this shit, I'm out. I'm walking down the street. I went to go get a Coke, and I'm retelling you the story for a reason. So I'm walking, and midway, I hear in my head like an auditory sound that just goes, "I hope you're ready for this." And I swear to you, it was an impression of an energy of a female 16-year-old daughter of mine that I was supposed to have, I guess. Big ass boobs, straight hair, Spanish, Italian, American, gum chewing in my ear type of girl. Energy just fucking showed up, and it was the lion moon. It was over the full moon. And I listened to her in my head, which is basically just your own thought process. But like when you ascend, you start to become way more comfortable with the masculine, feminine energies. This little bitch just came into my head, and I swear to you, about 5 minutes into walking, I finally stopped, and I was on top of a bridge, and I go, "Look, you little hoe. If you don't knock this shit off, I'm gonna fucking kill you. There's a reason I didn't have fucking children." And I started to go off on this like imaginary thing in my head. And I'm laughing the entire time because I can hear my guides cracking up. They think it's funny shit. Because it's all playing in my head, so I already think I'm going fucking nuts, right? I kid you not, as I'm walking, I all of a sudden she settled down and I just remember feeling like the masculine side of myself just went, "Yep, she's ours." And I just went, "Oh, I didn't. Oh, okay, I don't remember that, but all right." And I realized that it was because I had included her in the arc. I had included I had personified in a creation moment. I had decided that I was going to create wonderful new possibilities for myself on my canvas because I actually painted a canvas and I actually did this whole thing with like what my office was going to look like and all of and at my house, and I did all the details down to who was going to be part of it, and then that led to a very funny hysterical fucking dream that I'll end this with. But the moral of the story is all of this was going in my head, and so I'm like, I've lost my fucking mind. So the girl's gone, and I'm just like, oh my god, and like I can totally hear like myself laughing, I can hear God laughing, I can just like it was so stupid. Like I was just like, I lost it, right? And so the next thing I know, I'm laying in bed. Now I'm at home, and I'm sorry, I feel like a penis that just came out of a vagina with all this hair on my face. Sorry, it's a little vulgar, but that's who I am. Water, Cancer 3 times over, and then Leo 3 times over. I'm interesting. I didn't used to be as much, but I am now. But anyway, so I'm laying in bed and I'm silent asleep. I woke up and I started to basically scream. Okay, fucked up, crazy, right? And I started screaming, "I want to die! I want to die! I want to die! I can't handle this anymore! Let me out! Let me out! Let me out!" I got so confused and was so alarmed by this state of like fucking like it came out of nowhere because I was asleep. I didn't realize that I hadn't put my guard up. I hadn't done what I was supposed to do, which is like you secure yourself. If you are a healer or if you are a mystic, you have to protect yourself at all times. And so I dropped my guard, and so I didn't expect it. And so this energy came over me. I was freaking out. I left in my PJs out of my where I'm staying into the street, and I was going to go walk. And I swear to you, I stopped for a Coke because I love my Coca-Cola, guys. It's a theme with me. And so I stopped at the store, and they had gotten robbed. The energy that had taken over me is that I had channeled the robbery and paraphrasing what the guy was saying to them at the store at the exact same moment that I was going through the process. And so it freaked me out. And because then I had horrible headache for 2 days, and so I had to wear this fucking hat. I've been wearing this hat because all of you who know what this is what you put on when you were getting psychic attacks, when you were getting a lot of psychic channel, and when like the things really start to get all fucked up. I know it's kind of cute. It's kind of my sleeping thing now because I gotta wear something. But because it happened and it was something tangible and it was something that honestly happened to me, it wasn't something just in my head. It actually played out next door, and they could verify everything. And so I realized that I wasn't as crazy as I thought I was, and I was just like, all right. And then I went, oh no. So understand that there's a lot more fun on this side, I guess you would say, but you have to look at it the right way. It's not judgment, it's initiation. You're not dying, it's a doorway. There's no pain in death. Just know that. Like if you add it, you're going to get it. So just don't put it in there. It doesn't happen. It's just your just conscious state is jumping from one place to the other. And so I started to connect all these dots, and I was supposed to tell you guys this because it's supposed to be like more of an uplifting experience. Um, but I just wanted to tell you that that's basically what my last 4 days have been. It's just one fucking thing after the other, just like and it's bizarre because I don't understand how they're rebuilt. I don't. There are still certain things that were lagging behind that needed to burn off. I've had super massive depression. I went 3 days without eating any food because it was part of the illusion. It was part of the process. I had to get over that whole thing, and I haven't been able to find a job in the past month. And so it's just like it's nonstop, like barragement. And so I thought I was just losing it. Like I finally just left reality, and I was just like, fuck it. But it wasn't. It was that you have to get over the emotional. You have to get over the physical. You have to get over the spiritual. And you have to get over the mental. You have to stop believing in what you're seeing because it's not there. That's why we're supposed to record it. We are active participants recording what we are seeing, but it's not actually happening. And so wrapping your head around that little fucking mental trip is a fucking shit show. And so all of that it has been playing out. And so the point is this. Those of you who don't understand, you're not going to understand until it's your time. But when you get to that part where you think that you don't know what's going to happen, you're going to go through. I'm not dead. I mean, I died, yes, but I'm not dead. I'm just I don't know. I don't understand the whole conscious thing. Like either I am part of now the super conscience, or I've just never existed. I don't know. I'm caught in between the two realities. But you know what I mean. And so you're kind of stuck in this weird place. Shout out to a lady by the name of Joanna. I am supposed to say that you are absolutely right. I know who you are because I watch you, but for some reason I specifically was told to say two things: you and Opal. So, Joanna, I'm supposed to say that you are absolutely right in what you believe is happening, and that you are just let it go, and that you will be just fine. That you actually have a special place, and that I don't know why I don't know you personally, but that's what I got. And Miss Opal. So Miss Opal, I actually feel like I'm connected to you in a different way because of the way that I like watching your reading and the way that you say hi, Cancer, and all that stuff. But one day you said something about elders, and you said something. You alluded to the elder thing, and I immediately got it. So yesterday, I think it was, I got a weird like channeling, which was I'm not usually one for hearing things, but it was an actual voice, and it was essentially what I got was that you have seen something I don't know, honey. I could be completely wrong. I could be losing my mind. But it said, Opal, that you have seen something that you do not believe to be real because it's too good, almost too good to be true, that involves your elder. Someone that you truly loved in your family line. And I think it has to do with your mom. I don't know. It's not your mom, but somebody of that. And I'm supposed to just say that don't disbelieve what you saw. You got a glimpse at something. Follow that and see where that takes you. I don't know what that means, honey. I don't know you well enough to know that, but those are the two things. So, and then last but not least, to the rest of you. So this is hysterical. So I'm still new to the. That's why I'm wearing the fucking thing here. But I'm still new to the channeling thing. And so I still already feel kind of fucking crazy. If it wasn't for what happened next door, I would still think I'm nuts. But at least now I'm starting to actually get tangible proof. But I was in the middle of a dreaming, and I'm not going to say his name because he's famous. But he and I have exchanged emails. And for some reason, dude, I don't know if you're gonna ever see this, but I can't even say your initials because it's part of your. But I'm just gonna say this. So in the dream, you and I got married. Oh yeah, and we eloped. And so in the dream, I'm kidding you not. This is very funny shit. So we're about to we elope and we decide we're gonna spring it on your friends and my like the limited family I have left. And so it's basically a day turnaround. And so I call one of your executives who I befriended actually in person, or that I really like. And so I guess in the dream I befriended her. And I kid you not, I go, "Can you get me Christy McNichol on the phone?" And she's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, can you get me Christy McNichol?" Next thing I know, I'm talking to Christy McNichol, and I'm basically like setting up for the marriage. I'm going to surprise you with, and I'm just where I think I'm nuts, but I'm going to surprise you with the pirate movie ending dance. Um, I had to go watch the movie to know what the fuck this thing was. But it was like the whole circling each other and the whole thing. And Christy McNichol and I are both in white dresses. I can't wear white. I am so not pure. Like so far from pure. A little bit abstinent lately, but that's because of the whole Ascension thing. But I am not pure. So you can imagine how surprised I was. But I woke up cracking up, dude. I woke up laughing so hard. The reason I'm telling you all of this is not just that I'm losing my mind, but I think it's because there's so much joy after so much heartbreak and so much. I mean, if there's death, there's actual death here, and people our friends are like leaving the planet early because they don't want to do the ascension or because they were given an exit out, and there's all of this severity that's going on. But when you get beyond that, when you just surrender to the process, they fucking make me laugh. Like it's like fucking serious, funny humor shit going on. I mean, I basically got married to a celebrity who I've never really actually personally met. I've exchanged one email with this dude, and I mean, I've always thought he was hot and stuff. But in this dream, fucking went on for 45 minutes or so. Married to him, did a whole dance. I was wearing a white dress with Christy McNichol, who I've never met. You tell me. All I know is that apparently you're kind of dorky like me, so I found that interesting. But other than that, I could not tell you, dude. I don't know where this came from. It was out of left field, and even right now, I swear to you that I can hear my guides cracking up. At some point, you have to trust your imagination because whatever this is about, it's about creation. And so that's the last thing I'm going to leave you with. If you can create limitless possibilities, then you are going to transcend this. Build your arc, take what you need, solidify it, understand what it is that you're keeping and not keeping, and be honest. Because if you're not honest, you have to go back and do it again. Be honest, go through it, more into depth, go through it. It does not hurt. You do not put that in there. Just whatever you do, don't put that in there. But the moral of the story is, guys, this is a rewarding, wonderful initiation. It is not judgment. You are not dying. You are changing consciousness. That's all. Everyone on the planet is going to have to go through it. We're all going at different intervals. You're not crazy. You're just you. And so, anyway, so like I'm telling you, this side of things, I have not stopped laughing. I mean, even the other day, I was like so upset because I still hadn't eaten. It was like I think it was the third day. And I was starving to death, and I'm in America, and I'm like, I can't get anybody to help me. Everybody's going through so much shit right now with the Ascension. Everybody's life has been thrown upside down, and everybody's having. I mean, it's the great year of reflection. The entire all of society is having to look back on the entire life that they've ever had, and then to boot, anybody who's ascending has to then go beyond this life after they've done that part, and then go fucking beyond that. And so all of us are going through. So I was like starving to death. And I was so like I wanted to just. I was like dying. I was like I just want to die. What was me? And finally, out of nowhere, I heard. I kid you not. It was my grandmother's voice. in Spanish. Listen, pansy ass, get up. Let's go. My grandma doesn't speak English. It was in Spanish, and I don't know. I don't even think that there's a word for pansy ass, but I heard Spanish, pansy ass. Let's go in Spanish. And and here's a glimmer of hope, guys. There are people that I have passed on in this side, on that side of things, that I am constantly now dreaming about in the future. Limitless. Be limitless. Dream bigger than big. Make this canvas of yours so fucking spectacular that nothing can stop you. Because in the end, you don't know what's possible, do you? So test it. Push it. Push it. Push it. Push it. The more creative you are, the more you're going to go through. The more that you bring with you. Remember, all those people that you are putting on that list, there's a loophole there if you think about it. Because if you're the only one who goes through, is that necessarily true? Or do others come with you? What are you building? Ask yourself that and answer the question. There you go. That's my Ascension message for today. I hope you guys find that well, in love and light, and I can finally take this fucking thing off. Although, oh, look at my hair. I'm like Anastasia Beaver. Look at that. I look like a lion that just ate a woman. Kitty cat. All right. Bye.